I agreed to meet my estranged daughter, hoping to rebuild our relationship. She arrived with anger in her eyes, screaming, "You chose your new family over me." My ex-husband encouraged her to hate me, whispering, "She never wanted you." Fighting back tears, I said, "You don't know the truth. But you will soon." When she learned why I left, her reaction left me speechless. I met Mark when I was 22. He was charming, attentive, and everything I thought I wanted. We married quickly, and a year later, our daughter, Lily, was born. For a while, life was good. But as the years went on, Mark changed. He became controlling, manipulative, and emotionally abusive. I stayed for Lily. I wanted her to have a complete family. But when she turned 5, I realized that staying was doing more harm than good. I filed for divorce, hoping to create a better life for both of us. Mark didn't take the divorce well. He fought for full custody, painting me as an unfit mother. He told the court I was unstable, that I had abandoned our family. Despite my efforts, he won primary custody. I was devastated. I tried to maintain a relationship with Lily, but Mark made it nearly impossible. He told her I didn't love her, that I had chosen a new life over her. Over time, Lily stopped returning my calls, stopped responding to my letters. I moved to Boulder, trying to rebuild my life. I met Alex, a kind and patient man who understood my past. We married, and I became a stepmother to his 2 children. They welcomed me with open arms, and for the first time in years, I felt happiness. But there was always a hole in my heart where Lily belonged. 15 years passed. One day, I received a message from Lily. She wanted to meet. My heart raced as I read her words. Maybe, just maybe, we could rebuild what was lost. We agreed to meet at a cafe in Denver. As I walked in, I saw her sitting at a table, her arms crossed, eyes filled with resentment. "You chose your new family over me," she shouted as I approached. I sat down, trying to calm my racing heart. "You don't know the truth, but you will soon." I took a deep breath and began to explain. I told her about the abuse, about how I left to protect her. I showed her the court documents, the letters I had sent that were returned unopened. Lily listened, her expression unreadable. When I finished, there was a long silence. I didn't know," she whispered. "He told me you never wanted me." Tears streamed down her face as the realization set in. We spent hours talking, unraveling the web of lies Mark had spun. Lily apologized for believing him, for the years of silence. "It's not your fault," I said, holding her hand. "You were a child. He manipulated you." We agreed to take things slow, to rebuild our relationship one step at a time. Lily confronted Mark, demanding answers. He denied everything at first, but eventually, the truth came out. He admitted to lying, to turning Lily against me out of spite. Lily cut ties with him, choosing to focus on healing and rebuilding our bond. It's been a year since that day in the cafe. Lily and I talk regularly, and she's become a part of my new family. We still have a long way to go, but we're moving forward together. I never thought I'd get my daughter back. But now, I can't imagine life without her. 2 months after our reunion, Lily called me, her voice shaky. "Mom, I found a letter. It's from you. Dated 10 years ago." My stomach dropped. "Where did you find it?" "In one of Dad's old storage boxes in the garage. It was hidden under a stack of tools. That letter." I remembered it. I had poured everything into it, my love, my regrets, and the truth. It was never meant to be hidden. It was supposed to reach her. I had mailed it when I heard she was struggling in high school. I wanted her to know I was still there, still watching, still loving her. I read it 3 times, she said. "I don't understand why he never gave it to me. Because he couldn't control what was in it?" I whispered. Lily's curiosity grew. She began digging through more of her father's things. Every box brought more secrets. "Mom," she said one evening, "there were other letters. 7. All from you." And it got worse. Old voicemails. Birthday cards. Even a tiny gold necklace I had bought her when she was 9, still wrapped in the original box. He hadn't just lied. He had erased me. We started seeing a therapist together. Lily wanted to heal, and so did I. But the sessions brought up deep pain. Every week we dug through old wounds. One day, Lily broke down and screamed, "Why didn't you fight harder?" I wanted to scream back. I wanted to tell her about the court dates, the lawyers I couldn't afford, the days I sat outside her school just to get a glimpse of her. But instead, I said, because I was broken. But I never stopped loving you. Then we found out Mark had moved back into town. He was renting a small house not far from Lily's apartment. She hadn't spoken to him in months, but now he was suddenly showing up at places she went. Once at the grocery store. Once at her job. "He's following me," she said. "He says he wants to talk." I told her to be careful. I could feel something dark in the air. This wasn't about regret. This was about control. One night, Lily called me in tears. "He came to my apartment. He was yelling outside, saying you poisoned me. That you were brainwashing me." I called the police. They came, talked to him, and let him go with a warning. Lily filed for a restraining order. That's when everything spiraled. Mark hired a lawyer. He accused me of turning Lily against him. Of emotional manipulation. He even tried to sue for defamation. I couldn't believe it. The man who had kept my child from me for years was now accusing me of manipulation. I hired a lawyer. For the first time in years, I stood up for myself. During the case, something unexpected happened. A woman named Claire reached out to Lily. "I dated your dad for a few years after your mom left," she said. "I saw how he talked about her. The things he told you weren't true." Claire agreed to testify. She had emails, voicemails, even pictures of Lily's childhood drawings I had sent that Mark had thrown in the trash. The courtroom was quiet as Claire read out one of the voicemails. "Hi, baby. It's Mommy. I miss you so much. I hope you're doing okay. I love you." Lily cried quietly. So did I. Mark looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. The restraining order was granted. The judge warned Mark to stay away from both of us. The defamation case was dropped. But something inside me had changed. I wasn't afraid of him anymore. But healing wasn't easy. Lily struggled with trust. Some days she called me 5 times, afraid I'd vanish again. Other days she didn't call at all, needing space. I let her set the pace. I had waited 15 years. I could wait a little longer. Then, just when I thought things might calm down, Lily made a shocking discovery. While clearing out a safety deposit box Mark had forgotten to close, she found a second birth certificate. Only this one had a different father listed. "Mom, what is this?" My world tilted. I hadn't wanted her to find out this way. "Yes," I said quietly. "Mark isn't your biological father." Lily was silent. "I was young. I was scared. And Mark offered to raise you as his. I never told anyone." She stared at me, pale. "So everything I thought I knew." "I'm sorry," I said. "But that doesn't change who raised you. Or who loves you." Then she whispered something that chilled me. "I think I need to meet him." Lily became obsessed with finding her real father. She scoured old photos, rummaged through files, even asked distant relatives. I had tried to bury that part of my past, but now it was crawling out of the dirt. His name was Daniel Vega. We had a wild, impulsive relationship when I was 19, during a summer I spent working in Flagstaff, Arizona. He was older, a freelance photographer who disappeared just as fast as he entered my life. I never even got to tell him I was pregnant. "I have to meet him," Lily said again. I was terrified. What if he rejected her? What if he was dangerous? But she was determined. After weeks of searching, Lily found him. He was living in Santa Fe, New Mexico, running a small art gallery. She drove out there alone. When she came back, she looked different. Not sad, not happy, just different. "He knew," she said flatly. "He always suspected. He told me he tried reaching out, but Mark shut him down. My knees gave out. I had no idea. He said he loved you, that he still does. I didn't want to see Daniel again. I was married now. My life was different. But he showed up at my doorstep 2 weeks later. Can we talk? He asked. Alex was out of town. I let Daniel in. He looked at me the same way he did back then, like I was a puzzle he couldn't solve. I wanted to raise her, he said. I wanted to be there. But Mark told me you didn't want anything to do with me. I was shaking. I thought you left. I thought you didn't care. We sat there for hours, unpacking years of silence. When Alex came back, he sensed something had changed. You let him into our home, he asked, his voice tight. He's her father, I said. I'm your husband. We fought that night. The kind of fight where words don't fix anything, where silence grows like mold in the corners. Alex wasn't wrong, but neither was I. Then came the final twist. A call from Lily's job. Someone had broken into her apartment. They found her belongings destroyed, walls slashed with red spray paint. One word was written across her mirror: traitor. It didn't take a genius to figure out who did it. Police arrested Mark the next day. He was charged with breaking and entering, harassment, and violating the restraining order. This time, there was no getting out of it. Lily had to move. We helped her find a new place across town. She started seeing a trauma counselor. She stopped replying to Daniel's messages. I just need space, she said. And I understood. Daniel backed off too. He sent me one letter, just one. It read, I'm sorry. For everything. I'll be here if she ever wants to know me. And if you ever need a friend. I didn't reply. Alex and I were on eggshells. Every conversation felt loaded. You still love him, don't you? He finally asked. I didn't answer right away. Because I didn't know. I loved my life now. I loved Alex. But some part of me would always be tied to Daniel. Not because of unfinished feelings, but because of Lily. And maybe Alex wasn't okay with that. Months passed. Lily was quieter. More thoughtful. Then, one day, she said something that made my chest tighten. I want to change my last name. I want it to be Vega. Not Barnes. Not Vega Barnes. Just Vega. I tried not to show it, but it hurt. I need to become someone that wasn't raised on lies, she said. This is for me. Not against you. I smiled. But I cried later alone. Mark's trial came and went. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Lily refused to testify. She didn't even go to the courthouse. He doesn't exist to me anymore, she said. But one day, an envelope arrived in the mail. It was from prison. A letter. From Mark. To Lily. She didn't open it. She burned it in the fireplace without reading a single word. I watched her do it, and I didn't stop her. We sat together, watching the flames eat away at the past. And she said, very softly, I feel free. But also completely empty. That's when I realized the truth doesn't always heal. Sometimes it just breaks the illusion. And what's left behind is sharp and cold. But it's real. And that's where we had to begin. My marriage with Alex didn't survive the storm. Too many nights passed with us on opposite sides of the bed, facing the walls like strangers. The silence was no longer peaceful, it was punishment. He didn't trust me, and honestly, maybe I didn't trust myself either. Not when Daniel still lingered in my thoughts like smoke that won't clear. I think we both need different things now, he finally said one morning. I didn't argue. I just nodded. The divorce was quiet, clean. No lawyers, just papers and signatures. And a goodbye with no hugs. After the dust settled, Daniel came back into our lives. Not as a lover. Not as a savior. Just as someone trying to right a wrong. He and Lily began meeting for coffee. Then lunches. Then dinners. She asked him questions. He gave her memories instead of answers. It's weird, she told me once. He feels more like a book I'm reading, not a father. But she didn't shut him out. That said something. While cleaning out the last of my storage, I found something I hadn't touched in years, a small wooden box from my time in Flagstaff. Inside was a photo of Daniel holding my hand, a crumpled hospital bracelet from the day Lily was born, and a letter I'd written but never sent. To Lily. I gave it to her. She read it silently, then looked up with wet eyes. Why didn't you send this? Because I thought I'd have time. I was wrong. Then came the news that shattered us both. Daniel had cancer. Stage 4. No hope of recovery. Lily shut down. She became cold, mechanical, like she'd pressed pause on her heart. He just got here, she whispered one night. He just got here. I watched her crumble again. I wanted to help. But this time, it wasn't my battle to fight. Before he got too sick, Daniel asked to take one last trip with Lily. Just the two of them. They went to the Grand Canyon. He showed her where he used to camp. Told her how he took the photo that won him his first contest. They watched the sunset from the South Rim, wrapped in blankets, holding hands like strangers learning to be family. He died 3 weeks later. Lily kept his ashes in a small black jar. She didn't scatter them. She kept them on her shelf like a lighthouse in fog. He never got to be my father, she said. But he showed up when it counted. Mark never did. Mark got out of prison early. Good behavior, they said. He showed up at Lily's job. Again. But this time, she was ready. She'd been keeping records. Photos. Dates. Times. She'd filed her own lawsuit, harassment, emotional damages, obstruction of parental contact, destruction of personal property. And she brought me to testify. The court saw everything, his pattern, his manipulation, his rage. The judge didn't go easy on him this time. He was sentenced to 5 years. And this time, he begged for mercy. Lily didn't flinch. She just stood up and said, "He stole my childhood. Now he can rot with the pieces." We visited his sentencing. Sat in the back. He tried to make eye contact with me. I turned my head. There was no satisfaction in revenge, just closure. And sometimes, that's all you get. After the trial, Lily gave me a new letter. "I wrote this for you," she said. "It's not all good, but it's honest." I opened it that night. "Mom, you did your best. But you also gave up too easily. You should have fought harder. You let fear guide you, and I paid the price. But I know you loved me. I see that now. I forgive you. I just wish you'd forgiven yourself sooner. Love, Lily." 6 months later, I moved back to Flagstaff. I bought a small house. Simple. Quiet. One night, I took every letter Mark ever sent. Every document from the court. Every haunting piece of our shared past. And burned it. I watched the smoke curl into the sky and whispered, "You don't own me anymore." Lily visits sometimes. She brings flowers for the porch and stories about her new job, her new life. We don't talk about the past much anymore. But every now and then we sit on the back steps, wine in hand, and she leans her head on my shoulder. "You're not perfect," she says. "But you're mine. And for once, I believe it."